Hey guys, it's Alex from 7th Hour Films, and today I'm going to be giving you another Dragon Ball Super review. So it's been a little while since my last Dragon Ball Super review, and basically, last time I did say that I would be doing a review every 10 episodes, and I am going to do that. However, as the episodes went on in Dragon Ball Super, the English dub, in case anyone's wondering, it did become clear that I was going to need a few more episodes for this particular video. So technically we waited about 20 episodes instead of the normal 10. So yeah, and also I'm using my webcam to film this today. I'm not using my normal camera. And you can obviously see all the crap on my desk, whatever. We'll try to ignore that. But normally when I look at my camera, I look at the view screen. Well, this is where the camera is, and this is where I can actually see myself. So I'll probably be looking back and forth. I'll try my best to look over here, but it's so tempting to look over here at me. So yeah. And there's something in my glasses. Some hair. Jeez. Alright. So for this Dragon Ball Super review, we are going to be looking at the Zeno Expo and the 40 Hours, which is basically episodes 77 through 96. This is basically the prelude to the Tournament of Power, which technically has already started on the show, and I've already watched the first episode, but whatever, my lateness aside, we're still going to review these particular episodes. I'm just going to go episode by episode, very similar to what I did last time. Instead of, just a bunch of notes that I'm just going to go through, I'm just going to go episode by episode. I'm going to give brief thoughts on each of them, and that'll be that. So yeah, this was a long kind of arc, wasn't it? This pre-tournament arc, basically. Yeah, that really took a long time, considering the Zeno Expo didn't take this long. Sorry, my mouth was a little watery, but yeah. So let's just get right into this with episode 77. I don't have the exact titles of each episode, but I'm going to give the titles that I gave them, so yeah. So, episode 77, Zeno and Zeno Want a Tournament. So basically, as my description implies, this is where the two Omni Kings, Grand Zeno and future Grand Zeno, are still kind of bored. They're still like, what are we doing anymore? What do we have to do? There's nothing much that we can do to have fun. And so they decide, hey, why don't we do that tournament thing that Goku suggested? So, sure enough, they go, I believe, God, it's been so long since I watched that episode. So I'm really going off of memory here for this, but yeah. So okay, so I believe they call up Goku and basically just want a tournament. And so basically this episode is just, we're gonna do a tournament. At the end of the episode, the Grand Minister arrives on Supreme Kai's planet, and everyone's there. Well, everyone being the gods of Universe 7, Old Kai, Supreme Kai, Kibito, Whis, Beerus, Goku. They're all there on the Supreme Kai's planet as the Grand Minister reveals basically when the tournament is going to be held. The Tournament of Power, which is going to be held relatively soon. Yeah. But before that, they basically want an expo, basically an exhibition match for the Omni Kings to make sure that this is all going to be cool and all going to be fun. So we move on to episode 78, where we get the Zeno Expo, where all the gods of every single universe, and as well as the Omni Kings themselves and the Grand Minister, all show up to this ring. I don't know why my mouth is really watering today, but it is. Sorry about that. They all show up to this arena, and basically for the exhibition matches, basically, we have 3 fighters from Universe 7 and 3 fighters from Universe 9. And so Goku assembles this small team for Universe 7, which includes himself, Gohan, and Majin Buu. And Universe 9 has these 3 fox wolf thing dudes, dog dudes, named, what were they? Basil, Lavender, and Bergamo. And they will be fighting in this. And yeah, it's really cool. It's cool to see all the gods there, all the different gods of destruction. Particularly the destroyers are really cool because, like, you know, you go through, like, all the Supreme Kais. They all kind of look, well, they're all similar because they're all the same race. So, it's like, they're kind of cool by themselves. But then, every god of destruction is practically a different species, with the exception of Beerus and Champa, obviously, being the same species. But yeah, it's really cool, like, seeing all of them. Like, one of them's a mouse. One of them looks like Cleopatra. One of them is like a giant robot. One of them is a clown who sounds like... Oh, how do I say this? He sounds very street, urban. If that's probably a horrible way of saying it. It's just not the voice you would get. It's like... I don't know. It's not the voice you would get for a clown. That's for sure. It doesn't matter what. They could have made that guy a southern hick. It still wouldn't have worked for the clown god of destruction. So, yeah. So that's basically, we get the whole setup of the Zeno Expo. We move on into episode 79, where the Zeno Expo fully begins with Majin Buu versus Basil. This is an interesting one. This is definitely an interesting fight. Basil I do kind of like because he's not just the normal fighter. He is sort of like, oh god, my hands are really up close, aren't they? Sorry about that. I gotta remember depth of field. I don't normally film this close to my camera anymore, so it's a little weird. Here, I should take a drink. God, my recording says 8 minutes. I gotta power through this. I hope I can get through everything. Anywho. So, yeah. So, Basil is interesting. He's not just a normal, sort of punchy, kicky guy. He definitely did not skip leg day because, basically all of his energy attacks come from his legs, which is a really interesting concept. But it's very clear that he can't do anything to Majin Buu, which we'll kind of bring up a little bit later. So yeah, it's very clear that he's outclassed by Buu, but it takes basically a stray shot. I should mention that Mr. Satan is also here because Buu is there, you gotta have Mr. Satan. So one of the attacks accidentally hurts Mr. Satan, Hercule, and this causes Buu to sort of go ballistic, and I'm just noticing my pop filter is dusty. And so then Buu really kicks it into gear and just eliminates Basil just like that. I've been snapping a lot in my videos recently. So yeah, that's basically that fight. It's nothing too crazy. It is cool to see Majin Buu do something because we don't... I mean, yes, we saw him in the Majin Buu saga, obviously, but it's nice to know that he's still pretty powerful. You know, especially in Super, we rarely get to see what Majin Buu can do, and I'll talk about that later too. I am a bit on the clock. I basically have about 15 minutes before I need to get going. I got to get to class, so I'm wondering if I actually get through this. If I don't get through all this in 15 minutes, then I'm just gonna have to stop the recording and pick this up later. Oh, won't that be weird? So yeah. We move on to episode 80, which is Gohan versus Lavender. First off, this is a really cool fight. It's great to see Gohan, you know, get back into it. You know, he did some stuff in the Majin Buu saga, but in Super, he's generally been sidelined for Goku and Vegeta. So it's nice to see him do stuff. It's clear he doesn't have his full potential back, and he even has to resort to Super Saiyan because his whole Mystic Gohan, or potential unleashed, whatever you want to call it, doesn't quite work anymore. So yeah, it's kind of like, well, okay, Gohan's not as powerful as he used to be, but he is trying, and this episode really lets him know that he does need to get back into training. So yeah. Also, part of this episode is the stakes are revealed for this episode. So basically, if you lose the Tournament of Power, your universe will be destroyed, which means all the Kais will be destroyed, the God of Destruction will be destroyed, the Angel will be spared and just, taken back to the Grand Minister. So the Angels are safe, but everyone in your universe will die if you lose the Tournament of Power, which adds certain stakes to the tournament, which is really cool. Next up, we have Goku versus Bergamo. For this one, Bergamo actually starts playing up Goku being the villain of this whole tournament thing, because he points out, like, okay, Goku insisted on this tournament. Well, now we're all going to be destroyed because of it. So he really, makes Goku unpopular with the Kais and the Destroyers. So that's interesting, and he even says, like, he actually makes a deal with the Omni Kings, like, if I win, please spare the universes, and the Grand Zenos are like, okay, we'll do that, but you have to win. And the problem with that is that they say, okay, Goku, now we know that that's a good offer for him, all the universes will be spared if he wins, but you cannot hold back. And because of that, Goku, who first off starts off as Super Saiyan, base Super Saiyan, and just starts, and is already pretty much winning. But then, because he can't hold back in this fight, he goes all the way to Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. It's like no holding back for Goku in this one. So, yeah, noble effort for Bergamo to try to save the universes, but Goku was not the person to have that sort of deal with. Like, that wasn't good. We also get, the rules are laid out for the tournament. No killing, pretty simple. No flying, that's an interesting one. That you cannot fly whatsoever. There are no weapons, no healing items, pretty simple stuff. And basically, you have to be knocked out of the ring. If you are not defeated by a ring out, then you are not defeated. Even if even if a fighter is incapacitated, if they are still on the ring, they are still in the fight. So you have to knock everyone out of the ring. That's a really interesting rule, and I like that. I like that, and the no flying really does make this an interesting tournament. I like that. So, yeah. We move on to episode 82, which is Goku versus Top. So, the Zeno Expo at this point is over. There's no doubt about that. And, so yeah. But there was someone who came with the Supreme Kai of the 11th universe, and his name is Top. He is the leader of the Pride Troopers. He is basically, the Pride Troopers are basically a league of superheroes in the 11th universe. And he sees Goku as this grand villain that wants to destroy the universes and is hungry for blood. Obviously, Goku's not like that. He just wants a fight. You can interpret that either way, but still. So he sees Goku as a villain and he wants to fight Goku and try to end him. And it doesn't fully work. Well, first off, everyone is on board. The Grand Zenos are like, yay, let's have another fight. But it doesn't really work out. And the Grand Minister does have to come in and stop the fight before anything gets too serious. And Goku, even at Blue, and I think even at Kaioken, has a hard time with Top, which is really cool. And Top basically says, if you think it was hard enough to fight me, then you just wait till the tournament, because there's someone in the Pride Troopers that's even stronger than I am. And that is in reference to his teammate, his fellow warrior, Jiren. So that's really cool. We get a little bit of stuff for Jiren. What's the word? Foreshadow, I guess, of Jiren, which is really cool. he still believes that Goku is a villain. Goku really doesn't care. He just wants to fight. So, yeah, that's basically that. Episode 83, Birth of the Saiyan Princess. 39 hours remain. So, the Tournament of Power will start 40 hours after the Zeno Expo. So, you have 40 hours to assemble an entire team, which is ridiculous. So, yeah. So, Goku goes back to Earth, and we begin the 40-hour process, almost literally 40-hour process of trying to assemble the team. We start off with the easy ones. Goku, good. Gohan, good. Majin Buu, good. Vegeta, probably. Except there's a bit of a problem with Vegeta. The reason Vegeta did not go to the Zeno Expo is because Vegeta is basically about to have another child. Bulma is pregnant and is about to give birth to their new child. Any minute now. She hasn't really gone into labor, so she's just really close, like right on the due date, but it hasn't happened yet. So, in order to be sure that Vegeta fights in the tournament, they need to do something about the baby. So, Whis takes it upon himself to go over and with his staff magically remove the baby from Bulma without any labor, any contractions, any actual birthing process. Wow, that is amazing. That is really, really funny. And yeah, it's just like that. It's so easy. She didn't feel a thing. And Vegeta and Bulma now have their baby daughter, Bulla, which is really cool that they're bringing in Bulla. And yeah, now Vegeta is all free to be in the Tournament of Power, which is cool. Alrighty. Episode 84, here we go. The recruiting process begins. Krillin and Android 18. So, as I just said, we move on to recruit the next members of the Tournament of Power, Krillin and Android 18. For this, they are a bit skeptical about joining, but see, Goku kind of lies to them and says that, well, if you win, you get 10 million Zenny. Yay! And you know 18 loves money, so she's willing to come into that. And obviously she wants her husband to get 10 million Zenny too. And yeah, it is a bit of a lie. He doesn't talk about the destruction or anything of the universes. Doesn't really give the full stakes for what's happening, it is kind of sucky, but this technically was Gohan's idea because Gohan didn't want to start a panic, so he said, why don't we keep that part to ourselves? And Goku agreed. We'll talk about that a bit later. So yeah, that's pretty much that. We actually get a cool fight between Goku and Krillin, which is really nice. I think Goku even goes Super Saiyan Blue to fight Krillin, which is really cool. Not that Krillin is to that level, but Krillin just wants to see how far he can get right now. And in the middle of their fight, actually, I think they're doing like a beam struggle, Kamehameha beam struggle, and 18 actually intercepts and gets that out of the way and saves Krillin. And Krillin thinks like, oh, why'd you do that? You know, this was my fight. And it's like, well, 18 has a rationalization. It's supposed to be teamwork. They're going to be on a team in the Tournament of Power, so they should be able to work as a team. So yeah, this is sort of where we get the whole teamwork thing that's going to be coming up, which, yeah, we'll keep talking about that in a bit. Episode 85, Buff Boo. That's kind of it. Buff Boo. I should mention from the last episode that once they get Krillin and 18 on board, Goku actually asks about Android 17 and says that they should probably get him too because he's really powerful. So Goku goes off to find Android 17, and when he does that, he heads by the Satan complex, Freaking names. He goes by Mr. Satan's house, and there's Buu. No longer Fat Buu, he is Buff Buu. And there's a cool fight between Buu and Goku, and that's kind of it. That's kind of the entire episode, really. Episode 86, Goku versus Android 17. The Lookout Can Fly? So, before reaching Android 17, Goku goes to Dende to figure out where he is, because Dende can use his Kami powers to find people. Yeah. So, when they do find him, they're like, well, here, let's just take the Lookout to go find him. And it's like, wait, what? And sure enough, he just, like, does a thing on the ground, and the Lookout starts flying through the air. And it's like, huh, that's interesting. That's not something he has ever used. No one has ever done that with the Lookout. But, yeah, the Lookout can fly. And they go all the way to meet Android 17, and we get Goku versus Android 17, because they want to see how strong Android 17 has become. And 17 is currently living on an island, protecting wildlife, basically being a park ranger, and protecting all the wildlife from poachers. And yeah, it's really cool. Evidently he has a wife and children. Alright, cool. And initially he does refuse to join the Tournament of Power, even when Goku says, like, look, if we don't do this, the universe will be destroyed. He still does refuse, but they go ahead and do a fight, which is pretty cool. And so yeah, Goku and 17 fight, and Goku at Super Saiyan Blue versus 17. 17 is keeping pace with him. So somehow 17 has become as powerful as the gods by being a park ranger. Isn't that interesting? So yeah, that's really cool. I do like that. We move on to episode 87. We're about halfway through. Goku and Android 17 versus the Space Poachers. So yeah, there are not only poachers on Earth, but there are poachers in space that want to come find and take all of 17's animals. And so we get a nice fight between the Space Poachers, Goku, and 17. Really cool stuff, some stuff in space. And when one of them threatens to blow himself up, Goku just takes them all to King Kai's planet, because it's like, well, this is where I took Cell when he exploded. And we get a great King Kai line that's like, despite what you might believe, we are not the bomb squad. So that's really funny. And obviously King Kai is still dead, I think. So yeah. Oh god, I'm messing with cords, sorry. So yeah, cool episode. 17 agrees to join Team Universe 7 for the Tournament of Power. And basically what they said is that while they're gone for the tournament, Goten and Trunks will actually look after the island, which is interesting. So, yeah, and also, 17 is okay with this because he's not going to be gone long. I should have mentioned that the Tournament of Power will only last 100 tacks, or 48 Earth minutes. And it's going to be a Battle Royale. Those are really important, and I should have mentioned those. But, yeah, it's going to be a Battle Royale. It's going to be 48 minutes. That's really interesting. From what I can gather, it's going to be sort of a 5 minutes. That's how long you have situation. Because, like, yeah, that's 48 minutes that we're going to stretch out over a number of episodes. That'll be interesting. Next up, episode 88, Gohan versus Piccolo. Might have to be the last one I talk about on this particular recording, and then I'm going to have to take a break. Oh my gosh. So, Gohan versus Piccolo. Gohan has been training with Piccolo to regain all his lost power and then some, and basically regain his mystical form. I know it's like Potential Unleashed and stuff, but I like Mystic Gohan. That's kind of fun to me. So, yeah, that's kind of that. It's a really cool fight. And then we cut to Universe 6, actually. and we cut back to Kaba because Kaba is basically looking for more people for Team Universe 6. And yeah, that's kind of just that, is that he's looking for people for Universe 6. And he goes to one of his old masters, an old Saiyan, and is like, well, can't you help us? And he's like, no, I'm too old. I can't do this. Too old for this shit. So yeah, he can't do it. So he does say, well, hey, why don't you go to my younger sister, Caulifla? She's a Saiyan. You can probably get her on board, and she will be powerful enough. So Kaba goes off in search of Caulifla. And yeah, that's where I'm going to have to pause for a moment because I've got to go to class. But this video is going to keep going, so yeah, one sec. And I'm back. So you notice something a bit different? I said I would come back a little later, but things came up. It's actually the next day. But we're just going to keep going. And yeah, hopefully this all works out. Also, hopefully this camera angle works out. I did go back to the first recording, and it looks fairly interesting. This lighting is a bit weird too. This webcam doesn't capture light as well as my other camera does, but whatever. So we last left off on episode 88, and so yeah, okay, that's right. I'm looking at my list and making sure everything's correct. Yeah. So let's move on to episode 89. Goku and Tien versus Yurine and Master Roshi. So with this episode, Goku goes in search of Tien Shinhan to have him join the tournament, and he learns that Master Roshi is also there with Tien at Tien's dojo, basically. So he goes there and just finds Tien teaching a lot of fresh-faced fighters, and Master Roshi is there. Pretty simple. And Chaozu's also there, which is cool. Because we really don't see Chaozu much. We also don't see Tien that much anymore, pretty much since the Cell Saga. So, yeah. I mean, he had his moment, I guess. He's had a couple moments here and there, but he really has been absent for a long time. So, while this is happening, someone else comes to the dojo, a girl named Yurine, and she vows vengeance on Tien Shinhan because... Okay, so she was apparently part of the Crane School back when Tien and Chaozu were part of the Crane School as well. And eventually he left, I guess. Either he left the Crane School, or he just moved on, or he went to the tournament or something like that. And basically just left Yurine behind, and so she vows vengeance on him. Kind of stupid, but whatever. And she's not the greatest martial artist in the world, but she knows a couple things, but she knows magic. She is kind of a sorceress, basically. And she basically puts all of Tien's students under a spell, and makes them start destroying a town that's nearby. And then, so Goku and Tien and Master Roshi all go down to, and Chaozu too. They all go down to try to stop them. And what ends up happening is that Yurine actually takes control of Master Roshi, which is really interesting. Oh, excuse me. So yeah, so Yurine takes control of Master Roshi, and he pretty much uses all of his power and fights Tien, and actually gets a couple good hits in on Tien, and then Goku steps in and fights him, and obviously even a super-powered Master Roshi is no match for even base form Goku, but Goku does recognize that Master Roshi has significant power now. Like, he even says, like, oh, Master Roshi must have been slipping in some secret training while we were gone, like, when we're not around. So yeah, Master Roshi is a lot more powerful than he used to be. And, again, obviously can't take on Goku, but he's pretty good. So they end up stopping him and freeing him and the other students from Yurine's spell. And then just before, Yurine is about to leave, basically, because she's failed in her mission. Oh, excuse me, I'm so burpy. So yeah, she's about to leave and vow vengeance and train to become really powerful so that she can beat Tien. And then Tien says, well, as long as you're going to be training, why don't you just do it in my dojo? Which is kind of weird, but at the same time, it's like Tien is basically... You can tell Tien is sort of playing like, okay, you don't need to do this. I understand you feel that you have to, but you really don't need to do this. I don't... Like, Tien feels nothing about this, basically. And, he says, like, well, if you're going to train, you might as well train well. So, sure enough, she joins, and she apologizes to the town for ruining it, basically. And, yeah, Tien agrees to join the Tournament of Power for Universe 7 in order to get the prize of 10 million zenny so that he can repair the town and, well, use the money, I guess, for other expenses and stuff. And Master Roshi loves the thought of getting all that money, so he joins the team too. Yay. Yeah, that's basically episode 89. We move on to episode 90, Goku and Tien versus Piccolo and Gohan. So Piccolo and Gohan are done with their training, and Piccolo decides that it's time to really test Gohan's, revived power, basically. So they go straight to our number one man, Goku, and so it's basically a tag team between it's Piccolo and Gohan on one team and Goku and Tien on the other team. And it's a pretty cool fight. Tien isn't exactly up to snuff with the others, which is something interesting that, because, I kept saying, like, oh, he's been absent since, like, the Cell Saga. He has been training. He's been training so long, whereas, like, Krillin hasn't been training. Even Gohan hasn't been training. But Tien has been training this whole time, and Tien just does not compare to anyone. I'm not, like, maybe he's on Krillin's level, but that's debatable because, Roshi kind of gave him a run for his money last episode. So yeah. So we get a cool fight. Tien isn't exactly up to snuff, but he holds his own. And then, when the fight is basically, like, they end the fight because, things are getting destroyed left and right because of their fight. But Gohan hasn't really been satisfied yet. So he decides, okay, let's have just one more fight between him and Goku. So they fight, and Goku, I think, powers up to Super Saiyan. Gohan powers up to his, Potential Unleashed, Mystic Gohan, whatever you want to call it. And it's a pretty cool fight. It's a really, really good fight. But Gohan says, like, okay, I know you're holding back. Don't hold back for me. And that's kind of surprising to Goku. It's like, don't hold back. Are you sure? And it's like, yeah, because I want you to give everything because that's what I'm giving you. So sure enough, Goku goes all the way, Super Saiyan Blue, Kaioken, and they have this cool, epic moment. And sure enough, Gohan does technically lose the fight. But they do show that Gohan has really come far, that yes, he can't beat his father at that level of power, but his Potential Unleashed does get him pretty far, and he's really regained a lot of his power. So that's really cool. And with that, that's basically everyone on the team. We've got a full set of 10. The team is, as a quick recap, Goku, Gohan, Vegeta, Krillin, 18, 17, Master Roshi, Tien Shinhan, Piccolo, and Majin Buu. That's 10 people for Universe 7. So everything is good. Well, let's move on. Episode 91. We still have about 6 more. We have 6 more episodes until the tournament. So what can they be doing for 6 episodes if they have the full team? Well, first off, episode 91, Master Roshi versus his perversions and the magical girl. So in this one, Master Roshi decides to do some last-minute training because, as you probably know, Master Roshi has a severe weakness that can really hinder anything he tries to do, and he has a weakness to women. He friggin' loves women, and if you've watched any Dragon Ball with him in it, you know what I'm talking about. So he decides to train with poor Puar, who has to basically transform into beautiful women, and Roshi has to basically learn to control himself so that he doesn't get carried away when there's a beautiful woman around him. So it takes a little while, and things, it's kind of creepy, and but he does get over it, and he's all good to go. He has no problems with women anymore, which that's just friggin' great. Meanwhile, in another universe, I believe Universe 2, I think? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe it's Universe 4. Ugh. Well, off in another universe, there's basically auditions being held. I think that's what it was, is that there were auditions being held for the Tournament of Power to be a contestant, to be a team member of this universe in the Tournament of Power. And this girl just goes up, and she's just this, cute-looking anime girl. She goes up, and everyone's like, they're not gonna put her in. Why would you? And it's just some little girl or something. And then she just goes through this whole 2-minute transformation sequence. Like, how Sailor Moon, transforms? It's just like that. And then she just becomes super powerful. And sure enough, she's going to be in the Tournament of Power. And I just wanted to make note of that because that is hilarious that they did that. That one of the contestants is a magical girl. Because that's the thing, is you can leave... There's going to be 80 fighters in this because this is between 8 of the 12 universes, which is another thing I forgot to mention. Whoops. I did forget to mention that 4 of the 12 universes will not be participating in the Tournament of Power because their mortal ranking is high enough to where they're good to go. They're pretty solid universes. But 8 of the 12 universes have a very low mortal ranking, with the lowest being, I believe, the 9th universe, and the second lowest actually being the 7th universe. And because of that, they're all on the chopping block, but one universe has a chance to survive, and, basically it gets a second chance to improve itself and join the ranks of the other 4 universes, and that's going to be the winner of the Tournament of Power. All the other universes that lose the tournament will be destroyed. And I really like... There's kind of speculation about what exactly determines the mortal ranking, but there's something interesting. There are 3 versions that I've heard of. The first would be population, and the reason Universe 7 would be so low in population is because of Frieza. Because Frieza and the Frieza Force... And you could say to an extent Majin Buu from back when, he was on a rampage through the universe and the Supreme Kais had to step in, but that was 4,000 years ago at least. So the universe has had a chance to regrow its population, but mostly the population would be low because of everyone that would have been destroyed by the Frieza Force and Frieza himself. The second possible explanation for mortal ranking that I've heard is advancements in technology and civilization. So, how advanced your technology and how advanced your civilizations are would determine your rank, your mortal ranking of universe. Again, this would be lowered by Frieza, because Frieza would not want any civilization under his rule. And you could say, because Frieza was really only concerned with one galaxy, you could bring in, like, the rest of his family, King Cold, Cooler, if you think that he's canon, which right now he's technically not, but he kind of is. It's sort of a half and half. And, so Frieza would not allow any advanced civilization because eventually they would become a threat to his rule. So that could be why the mortal ranking is down. And there was another one. What was the third one? There was a third, like, explanation I heard about the mortal ranking, but I don't exactly remember what it is. Let's see. Population, advancements in civilization. I don't remember. There was a third one that was a possibility. Oh, that's right. It was strength of warriors. That could be another possible explanation for the mortal ranking, is that it has to do with how many powerful warriors there are. So you could assume that in these 4 universes that aren't in the Tournament of Power, they do have a ton of powerful people. Again, Frieza would not allow that because any powerful person is a threat to his rule. That's why he destroyed the Saiyans, because the Saiyans were starting to become a threat. He was always worried about the Saiyans and the Super Saiyan, and his fears were realized by Goku. So, no matter what of those 3 explanations you go with, all of them are affected by Frieza, and I love that. I love that Frieza is the common denominator, basically, of these mortal ranking explanations. I really love that. So you can really say it's all Frieza's fault that Universe 7 is so low. So yeah. Alrighty. So with that being said, let's move on to episode 92. Buu asleep. Saiyans of the 6th learn a new power. So in this one, Bulma gets a call from Mr. Satan, and she passes on the message to Goku that Majin Buu has fallen asleep, and he most likely will not be awake in time for the Tournament of Power. Goku goes, and sure enough, they can't wake him up. He's in a deep sleep, so he's out of the Tournament of Power. And at this point, we can write Buu off the show, I feel like. This is infuriating, actually. So Buu will not be participating in the Tournament of Power. And he really does nothing. Have you ever noticed that? Ever since the Majin Buu saga, he's done nothing. Granted, in the Majin Buu saga, even in the Kid Buu saga, Fat Buu was going in and trying to do something, like when they were all desperately fighting Kid Buu while Goku, was making the Spirit Bomb. Buu actually went in and fought Kid Buu and stood his own for a little while. After that, we had the pudding incident, and that's it. And if you watch Dragon Ball GT, he didn't do crap in that either. He just fused with Oob, which sucked. So, yeah. Ugh, excuse me. So, yeah. Buu does nothing. And then you get to the Tournament of Universes, I guess. When we had the tournament between Universe 7 and Universe 6, Buu fell asleep, so he was not able to participate. We did get him to fight in the Zeno Expo, but now he won't fight in the Tournament of Power. So at this point, I am perfectly willing to get rid of the character, because really he does nothing. He adds nothing to the show anymore. You cannot, you don't really have to write him off. You don't have to say like he died or anything, but just be like, well, he's just at Mr. Satan's, and just leave it at that. We don't need Buu anymore. Like, we're done. So yeah. So with that, the desperation starts to set in a bit for who can replace Buu as the 10th warrior. But meanwhile, we cut back to Kaba, who meets up with Caulifla and her sister-in-arms, I think they actually describe her as, Kale, who is also another Saiyan. And Kaba basically teaches the two of them how to go Super Saiyan. And Caulifla is a prodigy at that and really figures it out easily to where basically she figures out how, like, the mechanics of it. Like, she basically concentrates all of her power to the center of her back, and that causes her to go Super Saiyan. An interesting explanation for the Universe 6 Saiyans. I don't think that's really how that works for the Universe 7. It's a bit debatable. Some people, you know, it's a bit of a issue with how that actually works. I say that's just for the Universe 6 Saiyans and not Universe 7. And so she goes Super Saiyan, which is cool. First female Super Saiyan. That's pretty cool. And then she decides that Kale is going to go Super Saiyan as well. And when she does it, things get a little green. And it's not that Kale goes Super Saiyan. She becomes the legendary Super Saiyan, the female version of Broly. Though in canon, Kale comes first. So, yeah, Kale is the legendary Super Saiyan of Universe 6. Cool, that's different. And she gets super, buff and powerful, and then she goes on a rampage and they have to stop her. Caulifla actually goes Super Saiyan 2 when that happens, which is pretty cool. So, yeah, that's cool. And the two of them join Kaba with Team Universe 6. So, cool. That's pretty good. Yeah, we move on to episode 93. The desperation sets in. Goku turns to Frieza. So, with this, yeah, there's a real desperation because it's only a few hours before the tournament begins, and they need a 10th warrior, and that's basically the majority of this episode, and at the end, Goku decides, let's go get Frieza. Frieza should be the 10th warrior. Should be Cell, but whatever, that's fine. Cell would probably be better than Frieza, but that's alright. And everyone is shocked by this, that he would even consider getting Frieza, but Goku's mind is made up now. As we move on to episode 94, Frieza and Android 17 return. The plot of the other universes. So, in this one, wait, is that right? No. I'm screwing this up. So, we had episode 92, Buu asleep, the Saiyans learn a new power. At the end of that episode, Goku decides on Frieza. Then, episode 93, the desperation sets in and Goku goes to Frieza. So Goku goes to hell, he can do that, and he makes the deal with Frieza to join the Tournament of Power. And it takes a little bit of convincing, but it does work. And Frieza agrees to join the Tournament of Power on the one condition that should they win, Goku has to revive him with the Dragon Balls. So, yeah. So, because the thing is, he's not going to, when he comes back, he's still going to be dead. Because they're going to use what they did with Baba, actually. Fortune Teller Baba. Like they did in the Majin Buu saga. Frieza's going to come back for 24 hours. And so, yeah. That's basically what they're going to do. It took a bit of convincing to get Baba and even King Yama on board with this. But it works out. Let's see. Okay. So episode 94, Frieza, first of all, ends up, he comes back to the living world with the help of Fortune Teller Baba. They're actually at Baba's house, which is pretty cool. And, so yeah. So they're there, and then, basically a bunch of assassins come in. And it turns out these assassins were hired by the 9th universe in conjunction sort of with another universe. I don't remember which one it was. But basically as a plot to try to even the playing field before the tournament even starts. So the point is they hired these assassins to kill Goku and Frieza before they ever get to the tournament. Oh, God. I'm so glad we're getting close because I'm starting to lose it. The Sprite does not help when I'm trying to talk. So, they're about to fight. They're about to kill Goku and Frieza, and that's where we leave them off. But at the same time, Krillin, 18, Marin, Trunks, and Goten go over to 17's island, basically to pick up 17 and drop off Goten and Trunks because they're going to look after the island for him. And then we just get a super awkward scene between 17, 18, and Krillin, and it's just hilarious. Like, there's just so much in there that's just so... Ugh. And you can definitely tell, like, Krillin is really nervous about meeting 17 again and stuff like that, so it's a lot of fun. And then we move on to episode 95, Goku and Frieza versus the 9th Assassins. Frieza plays the field. So, Frieza goes Golden Frieza, which is pretty cool. And he basically reveals that while he was in Hell, he's been training. He's basically been doing image training and like mental training, which has actually helped his physical body. So he's been training in his mind in Hell. So now all of the kinks in his Golden Frieza form have been worked out and everything's good. And he's even a lot more powerful than he was in the Golden Frieza saga. So yeah, they take out pretty much all the assassins. But one of them has, like, energy of destruction that was given to them by the destroyer of the 9th universe, and uses it on Frieza, and it's going to completely destroy Frieza, you know, not even send him to Otherworld, just destroy him. And Frieza, in his golden form, actually contains the power and gets out of it, which no one should be able to do, but Frieza does. And then they kill the rest of the assassins. Well, Frieza kills the rest of them, basically. And then Goku drops his guard like a dumbass, because that's what Goku does. And Frieza uses that power of destruction on Goku. So, yeah, Goku, and this is Goku in his base form, and he's really struggling to get out, and he really can't do it. And meanwhile, Frieza takes one of the, basically, communicators that the assassins had, and calls the Supreme Kai and the Destroyer of the 9th Universe, and tries to make a deal, basically, like, hey, so your assassins suck, but here's what I want. I want to be a part of Team Universe 9. So, yeah, that he basically makes the deal to try to be a part of Team Universe 9, but the Supreme Kai and the Destroyer keep arguing about, is that legal? Can they do that? You know, why do we want this guy? This guy seems pretty evil. You know, he's totally willing to abandon his entire universe to damnation, basically, just for himself, just so he can survive. It's like, do we really want that guy? And at that time, Beerus and Whis show up, so Frieza is like, oh well. Like, oh well, I guess it's too late, and he crushes the thing. So he's still a part of Team Universe 7, which is good. And Beerus goes over to Goku, who's still struggling with the Destroyer power, and Beerus just literally just blows it away, just blows it away. And you can see that it really took a toll on Goku to do that. And, you know, they kind of joke like, oh, well, Frieza could do it, no problem, but Goku, he couldn't do it without Beerus' help. And it's like, okay, Frieza could do that in his golden form. Goku was in his base form. Let's see if he can do that at Blue Kaioken, basically. You don't even need to go to Kaioken, probably. You just go to Blue. So, yeah. And then, to kind of see, like, how strong Goku and Frieza are, Goku sets up just a very short match. Oh, excuse me. So Goku sets up a very short match, which is him and Frieza, and the first one to land a punch on the other wins, and then the fight's just completely over. And to make sure that it's over, Whis and Beerus are presiding over this, and they will be ready to stop it. And so Goku says, like, okay, if I win, you have to give up this grudge between us and, you know, be loyal to Team Universe 7, basically. And Frieza says, you know, if I win, none of that's happening, and I'm just going to beat you, basically. So they go at full power, and Frieza at golden and Goku at blue, and they go and they both punch each other at the exact same time. And Whis and Beerus comment that they're basically at the same power level. They're pretty much even, and which is really interesting to think about, that they're both even, because Goku has been relatively stronger, like just slightly stronger than Frieza has been. Just enough in order to win his previous battles with Frieza, but now they seem to be pretty even. So, we move on to the last episode that we're going to talk about in this video, episode 96. Enter the Ring. The Tournament of Power begins. Kinda. So, the whole team is assembled. We're all good. They get in their quips, and there are tensions, obviously, between everyone and Frieza. But they have a full team of 10, and they head off to the arena. And they make it there, and they see all the other teams there. Before actually they go there, so construction is completed on the tournament ring, basically. And to test it out, 3 of the destroyers from for the 4 universes, 3 of the 4 destroyers actually hold a quick match between the 3 of them, and they do destroy a lot of the stage, but then they have to fix it. And it's really cool, actually, to see 3 destroyers fight. And they're all, like, proud of themselves and stuff. And so, yeah. So, as the teams are now getting there, the destroyers are fixing everything, which has to suck because they're destroyers, and they have to, you know, fix and create stuff, but whatever. So, yeah. Team Universe 7 arrives, Team Universe 6 arrives, and you get everyone there. Frieza notices Frost, which is pretty cool, that now, canonically, other than King Cold, he gets to meet someone of his own race, which is a rare thing. Like, in canon, it's only his father, and then if you go to, you know, the not canon stuff, then you do get Cooler, but we never get a scene between Frieza and Cooler. So, yeah. And then Goku and Vegeta meet up with Kaba and Caulifla and Kale, and that's a pretty cool scene. And then all the universes come in, and the last ones to come in are the Pride Troopers from Universe 11. All of them, Toph and Jiren, all of them. It's pretty cool. And everyone kind of senses Team Universe 11 coming before they even show up. So it's pretty, like, they can tell, like, okay, the Pride Troopers are really powerful. Like, this is going to be tricky. And the rules are laid out once again. No flying, unless you can physically fly, but no energy-based flying. And they're like, oh, so it's like, well, let me see if I can fly. And Goku jumps up and he drops back down. So you can jump pretty high, but you cannot fly. The Omni Kings have made sure that no one will be able to fly unless they physically are able to. So, like, if they have wings or something. And again, if you're knocked out, then you basically go back to the stands, and you have to be knocked out in order to lose. So yeah, the rules are laid out. Everything's good. We all have 48 minutes for a battle royale, and that's it. That's the end. So the Tournament of Power begins next time on Dragon Ball Super. So yeah, overall, these were pretty interesting. I do feel like they really dragged out this whole recruitment process. Like, it was cool seeing the Zeno Expo and stuff, and after that, like, okay, so it took 4 episodes to get through the Zeno Expo, basically, from fight to fight, because, okay, 5 if you count when they start the expo. It's like, okay, we're here at the expo, and then when they end it, it's about 5 episodes. And then after that is, it's got to be like 14 episodes, I think, 14 episodes between the Zeno Expo and the actual tournament. And most of that is just finding 7 people. So it takes a while. It takes a while to get around to it. But they were good episodes. I really did enjoy them. And it's nice to see all these characters back, basically. And the idea that a lot of them are going to be fighting again. You know, it's nice to see Android 17 back. It's nice to know that Master Roshi is going to fight and be useful. Tien, for that matter, too. So, yeah, I did really like this. It did seem to take a while, though, because of how long we had to wait. Because these are, these episodes are being released, 1 episode a week. And sometimes, they would take a week break for, like, Christmas or something. So it's like, let's get to it. And so finally, we're getting to the Tournament of Power. So, yeah. Really excited. Wish we didn't have to do a lot of the stuff with, like, Buu, because that's just infuriating. But it's cool. I like where we're going. I do like that we have Frieza, even though technically I think Cell would probably be a better fit for the tournament. And yeah, that's pretty much that. Really enjoyed these episodes, and I can't wait to see where we're going with the Tournament of Power. To that extent, I will be going back to doing every 10 episodes I'll do a video, which means I believe, so that'll mean we'll have 5, or no, not 5 videos, but we'll have a couple more videos on Dragon Ball Super. And then after that, I'm actually going to, after the show ends, because I know the Tournament of Power goes to the end of the show, after that, I will move on to Broly, Dragon Ball Super Broly. So yeah, I'm gonna wait. I wish I could have seen it in theaters, but I don't want spoilers for the tournament. So yeah, yeah, that is basically it. With all that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. If you want to watch more of my Dragon Ball videos, you can head over to the playlist. You can subscribe if you haven't done that already, and be sure you hit that notification bell. You can support me on Patreon and follow me on social media, links below in the description. See you guys later.